The ANC is launching its local government election manifesto. The DA, EFF, COPE and Action SA have already launched theirs. Let's discuss what we can expect from the ANC with political analyst Sam Koma joining me now for that conversation. Mr. Koma, thank you for your time and your insights here on all angles. So the ANC, in many instances, it's a party seeking re-election because, you know, it may not govern all of the municipalities in the country, but it does govern a significant amount of those municipalities. Given the difficulties getting out of the starting block that it has faced recently and the issues of factionalism that it continues to grapple with, the finances that it's facing, what message can we expect the ANC to take to the people to say, you know, why should anyone trust the ANC this time around?
Yes, thanks to us. Of course, most of the organizational problems that beset the ANC are self-inflicted, and that can be summed up as sheer incompetence or ineptitude on the part of the ANC. But I have a sense that they will close ranks and try to present a united face and posture as part of galvanizing their support base, and also ensure that this time around they are able to increase their majorities in the municipalities that they govern. Bearing in mind that at the moment we have 40 municipalities that are placed under Section 139, which in other words says that you have administrators appointed by provincial governments that are running or managing the affairs of municipalities. And that speaks to sheer dysfunctionality of these municipalities that are facing the ANC. But I think today the ANC in their manifesto, they'll say, no, guys, we have turned the corner, one, in the manner in which we have approached the nomination of our municipal council candidates who have been properly vetted, informed by the step-aside rule. Two, we have now introduced a new way of properly interviewing and selecting our mayoral candidates. And as the ANC, we believe that that will go a long way in ensuring that we have candidates that are fit for purpose and are adept at dealing with the governance challenges that are facing the country in particular, and also ensuring that, of course, we improve on acceleration of provision of basic services and other related challenges. But I wish to see more concrete plans around, for example, the ESCOM bill, plus the water boards, which amounts to billions of rands that are owed by municipalities, largely under the control of the ANC. I also wish to hear and see plans presented by the ANC in their manifesto around how are they intending to improve the spending capacity of municipalities related to conditional grants that have to do with investment on new infrastructure, plus maintenance of existing infrastructure, issues of roads, provision of electricity, water, and others. But I also expect the ANC to also flag the issue of competence, to say we are going to make it a point that the officials that are appointed at managerial level also have what it takes in terms of their skills, their qualifications. And this is also born out of the fact that we know that currently there is a municipal systems amendment bill that is putting emphasis on the need to professionalize local government.
In fact, the issues that you raise are sort of linked and related in that the ANC has been pushing forward what it calls the district development model. To what extent can we expect the ANC to report back on the implementation of this model, which carves up South Africa into districts and then has almost localized plans that involve all three spheres of government for each and every one of these districts? So that issue you are talking about, as well as the issue of competence of the people that have been selected, becomes critical if you're going to be taking such a model towards development.
Yes, thanks to us. Yes, the biggest test of the implementation of the district development model has been witnessed in the Eastern Cape because the OR Tambo district municipality was the first to be tested as part of implementing the district development model. And we know that last month, the council of that district was dissolved due to, of course, internal political infighting, squabbling, and also hampering of the provision of services and also adherence or fulfillment of the mandate of the council. So it's not a perfect model or solution so far. It's in its infancy in terms of implementation. But the only way to ensure that this model is properly implemented would be to ensure that some of these functions are now devolved to local municipalities in areas around housing, for example, public health, and other basic amenities, because the district model does tamper with the constitutional status that is accorded to local government, because the Constitution says a local government is a sphere on its own, independent, distinctive, yet interrelated. So they will have to find a way to revisit some of the legislation that governs municipalities and also look at constitutional amendment where necessary, but very important, ensuring that they provide adequate resources to municipalities to be able to provide these evolving needs and expectations and demands of their communities.
Where do you foresee the biggest battlegrounds will be? In 2016, it was almost easy to tell the tale of three cities, to talk about Nelson Mandela Bay, Tshwane, and city of Johannesburg. Of course, in all of those three, we ended up with a situation where there was one kind of coalition or another. In some instances, for instance, in Nelson Mandela Bay, turning out to be quite unstable. To what extent does that spectre loom large as the ANC prepares to release its manifesto?
Definitely. So we're using baseline data, the 2020 by-election results, and we are now able to make predictions that in the Gauteng metros, we anticipate hung councils. So municipalities in this province of Gauteng are likely to be placed under or run by coalition arrangement because we've seen with the data that is coming out, the evidence that is coming out, that in the metros, this is what we are likely to see. Because it's difficult, it will be difficult, obviously, for the ANC to increase its majority in terms of representation, but I see these other parties, the EFF, the BA, the IFP, the FF Plus, and others, increasing their representation, which will then ensure that coalition arrangement become part of the game.
Lastly, Mr. Koma, if I can ask you about a phenomenon that we've become...
that is like
yeah.
Go on a coalition. But in the other provinces, Limpopo, Gauteng, Northwest, Northern Cape, Eastern Cape, the ANC will retain its majority then.
Lastly, let me ask you about a phenomenon that does play itself out whenever ANC supporters and voters have grievances. And we've heard a few people talking about it, even in the build-up to the November 1st election, that, you know, if I'm unhappy, I will simply stay at home. I will not go and vote. This was part of the equation when we were, you know, assessing poor performance by the ANC in some municipalities in 2016. How much of a factor is this likely to be, given the unhappiness around some of the councillor candidates' selections, despite the fact that the ANC says it will be able to fix those even after the elections? But secondly, also given the ructions within the ANC itself, the fact that, you know, it's a house divided, to what extent does one side say, we're simply not going to turn up and vote?
Yes, you're right, Tulas. In fact, a typical ANC voter who is disillusioned about the party affairs tend to stay away during the voting day, as opposed to switching the vote to an alternative party. We saw that in Tshwane in 2016, when there was a displeasure regarding the deployment of a mayoral candidate. So most of the typical potential ANC voters had a chant to say, no Sputla, no vote. And it is evident through the results that the ANC obtained in that metro. But this time around, the ANC is very shrewd to say, no, we are not going to pronounce our mayoral candidates, especially in the metros. Let's await the outcome of the elections in these specific metros so that we then proceed to interview and also select the potential mayoral candidates. So that is part of containing the internal risks, the conflict, the tensions within the party, and also ensuring that they close ranks and also gear themselves to the upcoming elections as a united force.
Thank you for your insights, Sam Koma there. I really appreciate it. Crystal clear, really, in as far as you outlining the issues that are at play ahead of the launch of the manifesto of the African National Congress. That's coming up later on this evening. You saw yesterday the ANC revealing, the details of some of their candidates, some more than 10,000 candidates across more than 4,000 wards in this country. That was the preview that was being given by the ANC President Cyril Ramaphosa yesterday. And today is really the business end of things, where we will see what is it that the ANC will be promising, that they'll be selling to the voter, hoping that you will buy on the 1st of November.